Okay, I think we're good to start. Welcome, everybody. I think, Deborah, I think you're kicking us off.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Deborah Spamer. I'm Chief Growth Officer for Company Nurse, powered by Lintelio. And we're joined by our partners at Pypestream today to talk about AI and how that meets empathy by bringing the human-centric approach to insurance intake. So what we want to do today is show you how digital empathy and compassionate humans can intersect to create excellent experiences during the intake process. So if we can move to the next slide. Just our agenda today is I'm going to introduce you to the folks who will be presenting today, talk a little bit about our companies, why we chose to partner together, and show you a demonstration of how we've brought AI and humans together. And then obviously we want to leave some time for your questions and answering your questions. So moving forward, I'd like to introduce our speakers today. Henry Spenblad, who is the President and Chief Technology Officer of Company Nurse, powered by Lintelio, and Winnie Yu, the Customer Strategy Lead at Pypestream. We've been working together for quite some time to collaborate on this process that we're going to talk about today. So go ahead and take it away, Henry.
Thank you very much, Deborah. Next slide. So a little bit about Company Nurse powered by Lintelio. So Company Nurse was founded a little over 27 years ago. And today we're focused on transforming organizational risk management by streamlining the collection, management, and secure access and delivery of information for all commercial insurance claims. For about 25, 26 of those years, we were focused only on workers' comp, but given our new technology capabilities, we have recently expanded to capture all types of commercial insurance claim. And what we believe sets us apart is our ability to combine compassionate human interactions with cutting edge technology to create excellent experiences and deliver value for our customers. That value is measured in claims reduction and reduction in claims cost, which we do by focusing on our security capabilities, the efficiency of our process, and the quality of the data that we collect and the means in which we collect it. Winnie, over to you about Pipestream.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Winnie. I am the customer strategy lead at Pipestream. Pipestream is just a slightly younger. We're about 5 to 6 years-ish old. We are the leader in conversational AI solutions. We work really closely with our clients to empower them to engage with their customers seamlessly through our implementations. So we focus heavily on innovation and customer satisfaction. We really work with these businesses to transform their customer support operations, really to efficiently drive their meaningful and transactional interactions, all the way from product education to customer support, reset password, pay my bills, things like that. We're very much of an end-to-end solution. We work across various industries, but insurance is one of our top industries. Many of our clients are in insurance, and we have deep knowledge into the insurance use cases, like within claims and policy management. So we've been really enjoying our partnership with Company Nurse.
Thank you. We look forward to the demo. Next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about why Company Nurse powered by Lintelio partnered with Pipestream. There are a plethora of bot and automation options out there. It seems every day you turn the page on the news and there's a new entrant in the market. For us, it really was about focusing our resources on our core competencies and strengths. We did go down the path both with Genesis Cloud, our contact center platform, and Amazon Lex. We're an Amazon shop to try to build our own bot, but we learned very quickly that there was a lot more to it than just the technology. And what Pipestream allowed us to do was to gain that speed to market. They have specialized expertise, as you heard a little bit from Winnie, around conversational AI, specifically around natural language processing, machine learning, and obviously deep knowledge in chatbots and personal assistants, enterprise systems integrations. This allowed us to focus our developers on developing APIs that Pipestream could leverage to enable these workflows. And because they have that domain expertise in insurance, they were very quick to learn our FNOL process. And then on top of that, the support and collaboration we get from Winnie and the entire team at Pypestream is second to none. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so very excited for Winnie to show us a demo of our FNOL solution. Winnie?
Awesome. Before you click play, I believe, let me just do a quick intro into this demo. This is one of our company nurse environments. This version of the solution, we are able to display specific questions based on the employer of the worker using a dynamically generated forms. So I'll kind of go through some of the main features, but this dynamically formed feature is really brings that flexibility in designing one solution for multiple employers, right? So I guess you can start hitting play. As I walk through this mobile experience, many of the users are using their mobile devices, and the whole point is to bring in an interactive, very easy to use experience. So you'll see the greeting starts there, has a main menu of all the different functions. The main one is report an incident. So you'll see them ask for which role. We've done a lot of design thinking workshops in terms of what users are coming in, injured worker versus supervisor. So going through this demo, an injured worker named John Smith is coming through to report their incident, otherwise done manually through a call. And so you'll see here, we'll get their information up front, similar to a call, and strategically placed up there in terms of if there was a disconnection, the business operations team can reach back out to them. At this point, the solution has identified which employer John Smith is at, and these forms are all dynamically generated to show the specific questions from the employer. So for this form, in terms of additional information from John Smith, we're asking for the social security number, we're asking for a date of birth, and then we're going to go into a series of other forms in terms of employee information, employment information, and then really down to the incident information. This process, while we were doing the design thinking workshops, we knew that it took around 15 to 20 minutes. Henry, correct me if I'm wrong there. Awesome. Yeah. So that was all manually done over a call. This allows users to have that ability to use their phone and put in their incident at their own time. And it also increases a lot of data accuracy as well. I don't know if you caught that. I should have been quicker, but basically the name of that claimant was pre-filled based off of that first section. And so there's a lot of automated pre-filled information that the solution is able to do just to help the user guide through this experience. And you saw that there's a date picker. And so a lot of our interactive rich assets were built into this flow. And really it's to decrease the pain points that they generally have. This is very time sensitive information. They're stressed out because of the incident. So trying to make it as easy as possible. You'll see strategically placed go back buttons in case information was misentered. So you'll see that right there. So there's a lot of design work up front. One of the interactive features is this body map experience. This is really intuitive. It really guides the users to just select the place of injury on their body, and then drills down into which part. So it's a very interactive solution. We have a very high rate of completion on this flow, and overall 97% customer satisfaction as they go through this flow. As you can see, is a very quick and easy experience. There is more automation that can occur here. You'll see, I think previously it asked what role they were in. We do integrations with the actual employers. So there's, when you're asking for a role, you can drop down and have a list of roles to select from instead of entering it in yourself. So there's a lot of, like I said previously, a lot of pre-filled opportunities to kind of move the users through this experience. There's other opportunities as well. You saw the interactive body map, but we also have a Google Maps interaction as well, where it's a lot easier to pinpoint where their location is just using the GPS of their phone. So that's not shown in this demo, but that is available. And then here we're nearing the end, where the user is entering in their incident information. And then you'll see at the very end, there's a confirmation step where they can review all the information and go back and edit anything. So overall, as I'm walking through this demo, it's about 5 minutes. And I don't know if you saw in the main menu option, there's an update information as well. So there's a lot of capabilities here for the users to enter in their incident and update as they go along. I don't know, Henry, if you wanted to add in any more color to the flow here.
Yeah, Winnie. I mean, the title of the webinar does mention AI, so I'm curious if you can share both for our solution, but just in general, what are some of the AI capabilities of Pipestream and this solution that we've taken advantage of or that we can take advantage of?
Right, right. So there are not specifically right in this flow, I think in strategic places, but especially in the main menu, there is a free text capability where users can enter in their needs, and the solution is able to identify the user's intent and get them to the exact place that they need to, or escalate to an agent if needed. So there is a strong NLU capability here, and as we are developing the solution, there's more AI capabilities. And also included is how we've developed over time and really understanding users any friction points that they do go through, so we have a higher success rate as we go through the solution. So there is a lot of capabilities in that aspect.
So natural language understanding, NLU, natural language processing. I believe we're working on some new generative AI capabilities for what I call the sort of the front door of this, where instead of asking somebody to click on an intent, we'll ask an open-ended question where the injured employee or supervisor can actually just state what happened, where it happened, how it happened, and the entity extraction will extract the correct entities into our APIs. Now, there's a question from Ashley that asks about what forms go into the solution, and is there a limit to the amount of forms? I want to kind of turn the page on that question because I know it says dynamic form test at the top. I think that's just because it's our test environment. This solution is based on our Lintelio enterprise system, which is designed as a first notice of loss intake and nurse triage platform. Within each section of our first notice of loss or triage, we have the ability to add both custom questions and custom directives. Custom questions meaning if an employer wants us to ask whether the employee was wearing safety equipment, that is a question that can be asked and placed anywhere along either the top or bottom of each of the sections. The same thing with directives. Directives are specific instructions that the employer wants us to read and acknowledge. In the case of reading, obviously, this is done digitally, where the injured employee or supervisor will see a message and will click to acknowledge that they understood and confirm that they've received that directive from their employer. So it's not really forms based per se, it's all part of the singular process, depending on what type of intake is being done. But then one of our capabilities as an organization with our technology is that we can generate any of the state forms or custom forms that are requested by an employer or another stakeholder. So as soon as this incident is submitted, we are able to skip going through our voice intake process. The call, if it's a triage call, for example, would go directly to a nurse. If it is submitted and needs to be reviewed by one of our coordinators, the coordinator would review it and then submit it. Or if it is correct and it can go directly to the employer, as soon as it is submitted, we're firing off all types of integrations and notifications. So, for example, if there is a provider notification involved, we will send a fax or an API payload to the provider, letting them know that John Smith is showing up for care. We will notify the insurance company with a direct integration to their claim systems. In some cases, we have the ability to pull a claim number from the insurance or TPA carrier and add it to the claim so that all communications have that data quality, have the correct claim number, which is a great improvement in terms of getting claims identified to the right employer and also paid in a timely fashion. So hopefully, Ashley, that answers your question. And if not, please send any follow-ups. Maria is asking if Social Security is required. And the answer is no. We have the ability to either only collect partial social security number or no social security number. We have employers that use their employee ID. We also have the ability to capture it securely in the form. I mentioned security as one of the reasons that we picked Pipestream. While there is a carve out for workers' comp as it relates to HIPAA, there are a lot of very stringent privacy laws. And so our ability to collect the correct information either from the employee or from a data dip into their HRIS platform allows us to transmit that information to all the stakeholders that need it without exposing that either to our employees or placing it in unnecessarily on other reports. Any other
Well,
questions?
Henry, our title of our program here talks about connecting the digital to the human. And while this entire process can be handled digitally, can you talk a little bit about how the human element gets involved?
Of course. One of the things that has set us apart for 27 years is we were the first insurance organization to put a nurse on the front end of a work comp injury. And we believe that much of the benefits that we gain from our program is from having that empathetic nurse that is staying true to their Hippocratic oath by doing the right thing for the injured employee. And so having the correct information, what we call digital empathy, and meeting injured employees in the channels that they want to use to communicate. We all know Gen Z and millennials and maybe even Gen Xers like me prefer to use texting or chat over being stuck waiting on a phone for 15 minutes. So part of what we call digital empathy is the ability to meet customers in the channel that they want to be met. But then also another part of empathy is when we do provide the interaction to, for example, the nurse in our case, all of the information is presented accurately, and our nurses are able to do what they do best, which is provide nursing services, critical thinking, and not trying to type somebody's name because that information has already been provided accurately by the employee or by the HR data dip that we do into customer systems. And so we like to think that that's combining the best of digital empathy and then also the compassionate care that's delivered by both our intake team and our nursing team. So Ashley's also asking, is there a way to review the data in an analytics platform? And are we able to see what forms are used most, where drop-off is, and what forms? Absolutely, Ashley. I wish we had a demonstration right now to show of the analytics platform that Pipestream delivers along with their service. But we look at that very regularly, and we make changes to the solution to add exits. As for example, one of the things that we did early on was we wanted to make sure that we're capturing the contact information for the injured employee very early in the process, because if they drop off for any reason, we have a process behind the scenes where one of our intake leads will be reaching out to that injured employee or that employee that started the report. It might be a supervisor. They didn't tell us what happened. They didn't tell us where it happened. But if they gave us their name and contact information, we will actually reach out to make sure that we don't lose any information or that there's no drift of information or gaps in the reports that are coming to us. In terms of what forms are used most, again, we're not really using forms here for intake. We generate the forms on the back end, and of course, we have data on which forms we use most. We have a lot of clients in California, so I would guess that some of the California state forms or our own in-house injury summary report or injury report is probably the most used form in our case.
I want to follow up on that as well. That in addition to tracking how the flow is performing, we also look at the NLU utterances too, in case users are asking for different items that aren't included in the solution for whatever reason. We do a lot of topic analysis to understand what the users are, if the users are getting what they need. So that we do have a very active dashboard that looks at the solution performance overall.
Please keep the questions coming. In the meantime, we'll shift to the next slide, which is some of our key takeaways. Thank you, Winnie, for that demo. That was fantastic. So I just want to reiterate, and please keep the questions coming, but just some key takeaways for those of you that are maybe seeing this for the first time. So as I mentioned, for us, this is all about empathizing with the injured employee, the user. Nobody, I'll be the first to say, nobody likes to spend many minutes on the phone waiting to speak to someone. Anecdotally, I can share that we've had customers that have told us that they don't believe that their employees are going to use the solution. And then when we show them the data, we actually can show that there are some of the highest, they have some of the highest usage of our platform. We've heard from school teachers that they like this solution because they can report what happened. Maybe, they were bitten by a young student, and they can file that report while they're still in class, maybe while the students are doing an assignment. They don't have to leave the room and find the time to spend on the phone with us to start an injury report. That also includes scheduling callbacks. So our solution not only meets customers in the channels that they want to connect, but it also allows them to schedule a callback to speak to a nurse at the time that is convenient with them. And that's really what we call combining digital empathy and compassionate humans to get injured workers to care faster. We do that by this process, and we also do that with all of the integrations and the information that we're able to provide. As soon as we complete intake, we will send a text message to the injured employee letting them know what their next step is. If they have self-care instructions, they'll receive a self-care text. If they're referred for care to an urgent care facility, they will have the details of where they were referred, and then that information obviously also makes it to the clinic. We've talked a lot about data accuracy and to helping improve the efficiency of this entire process. We're leveraging some of the NLU options that Winnie mentioned. So, for example, we're able to use GPS coordinates to find the specific address based on a Google API, so that we're able to capture that accurately. Sometimes maybe the injured employee doesn't know exactly where they are. We ask for permission on their phone, we grab the GPS coordinates, and we're able to extrapolate an address based on that information, improving the accuracy of where the incident happened and obviously the efficiency of the information. This is an important one. This is something we learned. There are so many options for building these bots that it's easy to get lost in for those of us that have built websites before, the taxonomy of trying to address every question that's coming into your contact center. For us, it was relatively easy to hone in on our FNOL process and really get that right. We do have some other FAQs and utterances or intents that are available in our Pypestream solution. But my advice to any of you that are thinking of rolling your own bot or working with Pypestream, and this is something that was echoed by Pypestream for us, is crawl, walk, run. Start small. Don't boil the ocean. And then, of course, picking a partner or a solution that complements your strengths. By all means, if you have a team of bot developers and you have user experience experts and UI experts and AI experts, then maybe you're in a better position to build one of these bots yourselves. For us, it was really about picking the right partner, in this case, Pypestream, that complemented our strengths and that was easy to work with. We talked about monitoring the usage closely. So we have an analytics solution that's provided by Pypestream that allows us to see which customers are using the solution, what times of the day are they using, if there are any drop-offs, where in the solution are they dropping off, and then we quickly make adjustments to the solution to improve or reduce or eliminate those drop-offs. As Winnie mentioned, we're looking at about a 96% satisfaction rate. We have a very quick happy face, frowny face at the end of the process, along with some comments. And we're seeing, I think, over 50% of users that actually go through and give us feedback on that form. And then finally, strategic implementation of real-world AI can have meaningful impacts. Things were peppered in through the solution, but the accuracy of pulling things from a satellite, the natural language processing, if somebody enters a date of birth that doesn't make sense, the solution says, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Please enter your correct date of birth. Or if it's a social security number that doesn't have enough digits, if that's one of the things that we're asking for, all those things can have a meaningful impact. I know we don't have a future slide, but one of the things that we wanted to share with you is I mentioned generative AI. We're currently in discussions with Pypestream to add a generative AI front door, as I mentioned, so that we're able to do some entity extraction from the utterances based on a very open-ended question to then collect that information and inject it into our API so that we can generate all of the reports and get the injured employee to care as quickly as possible, or get all of the stakeholders the information that they need. Let's see, we have a few more questions. So Mike asks, how are reports transferred to carrier or employer? So Mike, we, over the last 10 years, we've been working with our clients and partners to build integrations into all of the major payer systems and claim systems. That's one of the reasons that you'd want to work with us versus trying to do this yourself. We integrate with all the major payers. We integrate with all the major claim systems. So for those systems where we have an integration, we're firing off an API or an XML push automatically as soon as the agents hit save on their computers, or based on rules. We have a very elaborate workflow distribution system where we can, our client services team, through configuration, not through development, customization, or code, can easily configure rules that can be different for each and every location for an employer. So if there's a warehouse that needs to notify a different person than, say, a corporate office, our client services team, our operations team can make that configuration in our system. And then as soon as the agent hits save, those distribution rules will fire off the information, whether it's via an API. In some cases, we're still using fax. Fax is considered HIPAA compliant. So a lot of the providers that we work with that we don't have API integrations with will fire off a fax letting them know that an employee will be presenting at their facility with a specific type of injury. And of course, we include the notes. For employers, we've built API integrations into various HRIS platforms so that we're able to do data dips, which speeds the time to complete intake. And obviously, it also improves the accuracy of the information that we send. So hopefully that answered that.
Henry, you should also add our administrative portal, which we make available to clients and to client stakeholders on a permission basis, where all of that report information and every communication that goes out between us and an employee, or to the provider, or to a carrier, is all housed within that administrative portal. So you can access that data at any time, as well as a call recording if necessary.
Great points, Deborah. Thank you. And Ashley has another follow-up question. She's asking if we can speak in greater depth about security and compliance and the role Gen AI plays. So I don't know that I could say that Gen AI plays a role today in our security and compliance, but I can tell you that how you implement generative AI can definitely put a wrinkle in your security and compliance. And so we've chosen to work with Pypestream based on some of the attestations that they have made, and also with AWS. There are solutions like OpenAI, and I don't want to throw pebbles at them, but we chose AWS because of how they've promised to protect our customers' data. We are very proud of our SOC 2 compliance. And so we have our own attestations around what we do for security and compliance. We have other AI tools that we use internally for desktop protection, for categorization of documents within our network and so on that use Gen AI. As it relates to this solution, the idea or the concept here is that we're able to capture the information securely using Lynn, our virtual bot, and then we choose what gets presented back to our agents. So we're always thinking about protecting the privacy of both employees and employers' information because they trust us. Tens of thousands of employers trust us with their employees' data, and we take it very, very seriously. So we're happy to drill down and have additional discussions, Ashley, about how we protect client data. Deborah mentioned our portal. So there are a number of states that have enacted very strict privacy laws. And in this industry, I came from general healthcare. I was shocked at how abundantly information is shared over email. We encourage and we actually ask our clients to use our secure portal so that instead of sending a PDF with date of birth, social security number, we're sending a notification for them to look into our portal and pull that information themselves after they do a two-factor authentication login into the portal. So always thinking about encryption, two-factor authentication, and if you'd like to see our SOC 2, we're happy to share that with you.
Henry, can I add to that just real quickly? Agree in terms of our high security policies. Pipestream mirrors that as well in terms of SOC 2 and HIPAA compliance, as well as PCI compliance as well. I know we don't have any credit card information here, but in terms of use cases of paying bills for other insurance use cases, that is important. In terms of security, you can tell there's a lot of information that's being presented and collected. None of the information is stored within our solution. All of that is integrated into the back end. Any user transcripts are deleted within 30 days, and on any PII information such as credit card and social security are redacted in the back end. So agree with Henry there that we are and we design with our partners in terms of ensuring that all that information is secure. Role of Gen AI is a very important conversation that we've had with Company Nurse and others as well. How do we strategically place it? Gen AI obviously creates information, but it also does a great job in processing. And so, like Henry said, I echo what he said, that strategically placed, we are trying to parse information and not have a high risk Gen AI use case out to the users where they're presenting information that is out of a black box that can change whenever. So very controlled environment of Gen AI is really important in these insurance use cases.
Thank you for that, Winnie. Mike has a question about multiple languages. Absolutely, Mike. That is one of the strengths of our organization, our combined organizations. We do support multiple languages within our virtual assistant. We also have a dedicated team of Spanish interpreters that are part of our team, Lintelio Company Nurse powered by Lintelio team. This is something that's unique to us, where our certified, medically certified interpreters will actually answer or take the interaction in Spanish. They will translate into our software. Everything is captured and recorded, and then they will stay on the line with the injured employee that they've built that relationship with, and they have a relationship with all of our triage nurses. So it just makes the entire process more seamless, makes it quicker, and we believe it gets us better results. Working with Winnie and team, we do the Spanish translations because we believe we can do a little bit better. But for other languages, we do use some available tools out there, and that's one of the benefits of AI today, is that it does make it a lot easier to translate into other languages. Other questions?
Looks like Mike has one more about how long is the crawl, walk, run process, 60 to 90 days or beyond?
I think it's on. I think this is one of the other. I think I had a takeaway that maybe I took out, but one of the things I'd like you to take away from this is that this is really an iterative process. The crawl, walk, run is really about picking one simple, repeatable, low hanging fruit use case. In our case, it was workers' comp FNOL. The second thing that we focused on was our frequently asked questions, so that we had another thing that injured employees could click on in the solution to answer basic questions, so that we could deflect some of those calls from our contact center. From there, it was really about improving the process and adding, in our case, our team, our own internal development team, was very hard at work at developing APIs that would enable the dynamic capabilities that you saw in Winnie's demo, where we're able to, initially, we were only able to ask common questions that were shared by all of our customers in a work comp FNOL process. By focusing on our APIs, which I'll tell you, Mike, unfortunately, it took more than 90 days in that case to get there. But we did, very proud of the APIs that we've created that allow us to not only ask all of these dynamic questions, but we also now have an update process that allows us to divert repeat callers or somebody that's calling to follow up on an incident. Maybe the supervisor called and they didn't know the date of birth or some of the information for the injured employee, and the injured employee is now calling us to give that information. We can update via our APIs and via our Pypestream solution, Lynn. We're able to provide those updates into our system, avoiding an interaction where the person maybe waits a few minutes and has to tie up one of our contact center agents to provide that information. So I'm sorry, I can't give you more specifics other than it's iterative and start small, and your process could be 30, 60, 90 days, or in our case it was more like 60, 90, 180, and in some cases 360 days for some of the things that we were able to deliver.
Initial implementation was around 10 weeks though, Henry. And then as Henry mentions, very iterative, and I love the find the right use case, because find the right use case and find the right opportunities to improve. So I'm very glad that we're focused on the analytics piece.
Thank you, Mike, for your questions. Thank you, Ashley, for your questions, and Maria. It's been a pleasure to share our solution with you. Please, I think we have Martha and Deborah here. I don't know if you have any closing remarks on how to get in touch with us.
Well, I have shared Henry's and Winnie's contact information on this screen. If you have questions about Pypestream directly, please feel free to go to Winnie. You can reach out to Henry. I think many of you have seen my email, so you should have my email address about this webinar. And Martha here is our Director of Client Success and Sales. And you can reach her, actually, if you just send a note to info@companynurse.com, we'll reach out to you directly and answer any questions you may have. So thank you so much for attending today, and please feel free to reach out if we can help you in any way.
Awesome. Thank you.